After studying this module, we shall be able to understand the role of natural resources in the development of the economy. You will also be able to evaluate the progress of the economic situation through utilization of these resources and the net value addition to the existing stock of these resources over the years.
Problems and challenges. Some of the persistent problems and challenges pertain to the way the land is being used with increasing population pressure. With the rise of population since independence, there has been a rise in the net sown area by ways of either clearing of forests for agriculture or through conversion of non-cultivable lands into producing ones. But there has been a relative fall in the net sown area, and the rapid urbanization to meet the demands of population pressure has forced the cultivable land towards non-cultivable options. Irrigation itself is a major challenge for the existing agricultural land along with the increasing the productivity of the available land. It has been advised by agricultural scientists not to increase the area under cultivation to meet the population demand so as to preserve and maintain the ecological balance. What has been argued is to tap the unutilized potential of irrigation to increase the productivity of existing land and making land more cultivable. Soil erosion, waterlogging, and sanitation are other major challenges which need to be addressed with immediate concern.
Access to minerals was available in the Neolithic age, but its mass usage was developed later as nations discovered the vast resources of such minerals and understood the importance of these minerals in several activities and processes. The Industrial Revolution drew attention towards natural resources and their potential. Major resources discussed in this module include land, water, forest, minerals, and marine resources. Land is the most important natural resource. It is the only resource whose value appreciates with time. Land as a resource has alternative uses, for example, for agriculture, mining, construction, and recreation. India ranks 7th in the world in terms of total area, with a total size of 32.9 crore hectares, and with a population of over 1.2 billion, the resource faces severe problems in terms of land-man ratio and distribution. Data is available for 93% of this total land and its utilization, mostly collected through surveys and estimates. The various ways in which land is distributed in terms of usage are: 1. Barren land; 2. Forests; 3. Pastures and grazing land; 4. Cultivable wasteland and fallow land; and 5. Agricultural land. Barren land. Around 4 crore hectares of land is barren or non-agricultural land. Barren land includes mountain stretches, deserts, or areas which cannot be used for cultivation. The non-agricultural land includes also land under buildings, roads, and rivers, etc., which are non-cultivable or habitable. This, in total, accounts for approximately 14% of the total area. Forests. An area of 6.9 crore hectares, or around 23% of the total land in India, falls under forests. This area, by definition, includes areas either classified by law as state or privately owned forests, or areas kept as prospective forest land. The National Forest Policy Resolution of the Government of India in 1952 recommended around one-third of the total area to be under forests for ecological balance. Pastures and grazing land. These include village-based common land, permanent pastures and meadows, and occupy around 3% or 1 crore hectare of the total area. Cultivable wasteland and fallow land. The cultivable wasteland is a fallow land which has not been cultivated for the past 5 or more years or has been covered by shrubs and weeds. On the other hand, fallow land is one which has not been cultivated during a year. In all, the total area that belongs to such usage accounts for 14 crore hectares. Agricultural land. Out of the total available land, 14 crore hectares of land is under net sown area, which is almost 46% of the total land. This area has expanded over the years, but the scope of expansion gets limited in the near future.
Mineral policy. The plan outlay for 11th five-year plan was around 8,404 crores. The Geological Survey of India was handed over with the task of mapping and exploration of minerals and Indian Bureau of Mines for surveys and consultations in minerals. The Mining and Minerals Regulation and Development Act was passed in 1957 for leasing of mines and ores. The Offshore Area Mineral Development and Regulation Act of 2002 paid attention to exploration over water and special zones. The government policies for mines and minerals always had twin aspects of exploration and conservation of mineral wealth. In 1993, the government opened the mining sector for 100% foreign direct investment, which attracted criticism and raised questions over these twin perspectives as private players were more focused on profit maximization, which would have led to excessive mining and exploration with damage to environment and exploitation of cheap labor and other resources.
Forests in India, spread over 6.9 crore hectares, provide important supplies apart from habitat space. These include timber, wood fuel, and a wide variety of non-wood products like medicinal herbs, fruits, resins, etc. Forests also have ecological importance in sustaining diverse flora and fauna, along with providing habitat to wildlife species in India. Along with acting as a repository for biodiversity, they are also vital for climatic conditions. The Forest Policy Resolution of 1988 restated the importance of one-third forest cover for India as stated by the National Forest Policy Resolution of 1952. Afforestation efforts have been slow. In terms of distribution, three-fourths of the total forests are located in peninsular areas, followed by the central region of India, the Himalayan and Tarai Range, and the Ganga Plains. Almost 78% of forest is unregulated and is heavily grazed. During the first plan, expenditure on forest development was around 0.5 to 0.6% of total plan expenditure. This expenditure has increased to more than 10,000 crores. Government policies could be classified into two major phases. The first was the National Forest Policy Resolution of 1952. Key areas of this policy were optimized use of land, afforestation with environmental concern, plantation in desert regions to avoid desert movement, fuel wood provisioning, and pastoral expansion, to summarize. Social forestry was initiated with financing from World Bank to include community-based development of these areas. 17 forest development corporations and national wasteland development boards were also set up to further increase the process of forest conservation. Forest policy of 1953 was a massive failure as the 33% forest cover target was not achieved and the phase saw a massive deforestation drive. The policy tried to give equal weightage to people's need for forest produce and the state's need for preservation and revenue and the industrial needs of raw material. The National Forest Policy of 1988 laid emphasis on the role of inhabitants and locals for forest conservation. The key issues addressed included association with tribals for the protection and conservation of forests, extension of forest cover to 33% with a check on fuel, fodder, and timber extraction, or the opposing of forest-based industrialization, and the removal of private contracts and controlling land conversion. The 11th five-year plan takes forward the drive of forest conservation with the expansion of budget allocation and the widespread participation of institutions. More than 106,000 joint forest management committees are functioning in 28 states with 22 million participants. It also aims to expand the cover by 5% or to around 16 million hectares. Now we will discuss the water resources of India. India has vast resources to meet its water demand but suffers from improper distribution and conservation. India receives more than 1,100 millimeters of rain annually and has 4% of freshwater resources. Approximately 90% of water is utilized for irrigation and livestock purposes, with the rest for domestic, industrial, and power generation purposes. The average annual potential of India is 1869 billion cubic meter BCM, of which 1123 is utilizable. This can be further classified to groundwater around 433 BCM and surface water 690 BCM. India's water policy takes into consideration the construction of dams, reservoirs, canals, tanks, and wells for irrigation, power generation, and flood control. Policy initiatives face criticism due to the lack of planning and the monitoring of projects. The construction of dams has led to massive overlay costs and has had displacement and ecological impacts on habitants. Traditional tanks have been ignored due to technology backwardness, large maintenance costs, and lack of people's cooperation. The National Water Policy of 2002 encourages integrated water resource development and management for sustained and optimal usage. The policy has special focus on three major river basin protections, namely Ganga, Son, and Brahmaputra. The policy is participation oriented with attention towards quality alongside quantum based restoration and conservation. Fast receding groundwater level is at the center of water conservation under the 11th five-year plan. This plan emphasizes the need for watershed management and rainwater harvesting. The government has also undertook repair work at a mass level through integrated development schemes like MN Rega. The government has also initiated renovation of water bodies with financial assistance from World Bank in states like Karnataka, Orissa, West Bengal, and Tamil Nadu. The major cause of water scarcity and mismanagement can be attributed to deforestation, denudation, and sea and surface runoff. River pollution is another serious setback to the conservation drive, with major contamination emerging from rapid industrialization and the release of industrial waste and effluents into rivers. Let us now discuss mineral resources. Minerals hold strategic importance, especially for the developing nations undergoing industrialization. Nations like Africa and India are hotspots for such resources as there is a heterogeneous quantity of minerals available in abundance in these places. Minerals in India can be classified on the basis of availability: excess, sufficient, deficit, and acute. Excess minerals. This category includes minerals like iron, manganese, mica, thorium, limonite, and chromite, which are produced in excess and are exported. Sufficient resources. The minerals in this category are adequate for domestic usage but not for export. These include bauxite, coal, silica, limestone, gypsum, salt, and barium. Deficit resources. These scarce minerals include copper, zinc, lead, gold, silver, phosphate, and crude oil. Acute resources. There are other minerals in acute quantity available like potash, borax, sulfur, tin, platinum, and mercury. Although India ranks fourth in iron ore reserves and third in manganese, it faces a shortage of two most important fuels, namely coal and petroleum. India has set up exploration and geological institutes to undertake research, discovery, and exploration of minerals in India. Some of them are Geological Survey of India GSI, Indian Bureau of Mines Mineral Exploration Commission, and Oil and Natural Gas Commission ONGC, to name a few. Distribution and production. Iron. India possesses around 6.6% of the world's iron ore reserves, with 43 to 63% iron content. The reserves amount to 1463 crore tons for hematite and 1062 crore tons for magnetite and are mainly found in regions of Orissa, Jharkhand, Chhattisgarh, Karnataka, Goa, Tamil Nadu, and Andhra Pradesh. Approximately 67% of the produce comes from Goa, Chhattisgarh, and Karnataka alone. Some of the newly explored mines, including Kirubiru and Bailadilla mines, India exported iron ore worth 28,300 crores in the year 2009-2010. Coal, the foremost source of energy, its 68% of production is consumed for energy production. With over 180 billion tons of reserves, the major production occurs in Bengal-Bihar belt, followed by Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra, Orissa, and Andhra Pradesh. Coal faces a critical policy analysis due to failure of mine allocation. Other issues include low quality and excess wastage, high transportation cost, and linkage to other industries like steel, fertilizer, and cement, making it all the more important. Ferro alloys or metals used with iron to make steel include nickel, chromite, cobalt, tungsten, vanadium, and molybdenum, and manganese. Only manganese and chromite are in abundance, with total reserves of 59.2 crore tons for both. While manganese is found in Rajasthan, Gujarat, Jharkhand, and West Bengal, the reserves of chromite are found in Bihar, Karnataka, Orissa, and Tamil Nadu. Next most important reserve is of nickel, found mainly in Orissa, with over 19 crore tons of deposits. Oil and allied products. As of 2001, India had 734 billion tons of crude oil reserves and 750 BCM reserves of natural gas. ONGC and Oil India Limited (OIL) were the major government agencies involved in the exploration and offshore production of these resources. The gross output of crude oil was 153 million tons in 2009-10. Industrialization spurred the production of petroleum products like naphtha, kerosene, diesel, petrol, and other fuel oils from 3.3 million tons in 1950 to 51 to 138.2 million tons in 2009-2010. The widening gap between the demand and supply has resulted in a pressure on current account as the petroleum products constitute the maximum share of imports. India imported petroleum products worth rupees 7,46,335 crores in the year 2011-2012. We will now discuss marine resources of India. The Indian subcontinent has a vast stretch of coastline and river channels which help in the culturing of rich marine life. With over 7,520 kilometers of coastline, 29,000 kilometers of river networks, and over 2 million square kilometers of exclusive economic zone for fishing, India is fast exploring this potential on this front. With employment to more than 14 million people, India is the third largest producer of fish in the world and contributes around 1.2% or rupees 32,000 crores to the GDP in 2002. India produced around 6.8 million tons of fish in 2005-6 and exports amounted to rupees 12,901 crores in 2010-11. The Government of India set up the National Fisheries Development Board (NFDB) to capture the untapped potential. The government also provides subsidy on the cost of fishing vessels and excise duty relief on diesel. The National Fishing Policy of 2004 lists some of the following features: promote deep sea exploration, assist marginalized fishermen with mechanization, focus on harvesting, marketing, and the processing of fish, meeting export standards, and environment checks to restrict pollution and wastage.
Let us now summarize what we have learned in this module. Natural resource endowments form the prerequisites for industrialization of a nation. Land as a resource appreciates in value. It can be classified in barren, fallow, pastures, and agricultural land. Soil erosion and land degradation due to waterlogging and concretization are major problems. Forests provide wood and non-wood fuel along with shelter to rich flora and fauna. India aims at expanding the forest cover to 33% of the total area. India is a rich nation in terms of water resources and receives maximum rainfall in the world. It also has a vast network of rivers which sustain the agriculture and life forms. Most of the water resource is utilized for irrigation. Minerals in India comprise a wide basket ranging from abundant iron, manganese and chromite to scarce yet valuable metals like gold and copper. India has an aggressive approach towards mineral exploration. India also heavily imports petroleum products. The nation is yet to potentially exploit its marine resources given its long coastline and river channels.